gotta quickly send the stream link to my computer so I can stream it off for you. You guys can look at the amazing thumbnail I made. Does look a little bit pixelated, but it's it's not about that. Right. DRA. What?
You started playing it. What we're doing, get Isaac's pillow out before.
Oh yeah, go get Isaac's pillow out. Back and you can probably hear me. Oh, never mind you. I'm back this time, and if someone comes in again, then they will be shouted at. Yeah, so let me just this real quick. No, wrong one. This button, and then what's the good news?
For this, I knew the times for like 3 weeks. If you've been given 3 weeks notice on the schedule for an event, I personally have no sympathy if you miss it. No sympathy. If you communicate... Oh my god, traffic was hellish on me coming back from work. I apologise. Gonna be like literally 5 minutes late. Maybe I could turn around and go, okay, that's fine. If I'm let know in good notice. But, you know, I mean, there's a little bit of me which goes, shit happens, but you need to. It's your responsibility to communicate that. Sent, no sympathy. That's just me. But
all you need to get from that spiel of Cody is that he has no sympathy for people. Just remember that, guys.
But anyway, Mateusz, after his stop, there's a 4.6 second gap currently between Itkinen and Mateusz, and they have the 86 car. The Poker Stars sponsored car between them, the Sparkline Racing. But yeah, no, very much this time was as the 86 car loose on the exit onto the start-finish straight. Time has been set, you know it. If you're not gonna, you know, if nothing goes wrong that you've let us know of, then it's like there was no reason to miss it. Yeah.
Wait, what?
But I understand that time zones are really difficult, but my understanding is the Hellas Racing driver, which was supposed to do this stint, is actually in the Eastern Standard Time Zone.
That's embarrassing.
So when it's in your local time zone, it's even more a bit I understand there's people across the world that are participating in this event. I understand that fact. And I'm kind of glad as well that nobody's saying anything about connectivity issues. It's kind of cool as well for us.
I mean, I have not seen anything about, you know, any issues whatsoever. Looking at it, you know, every car is just driving straight, not doing any weird things.
Yeah. So Hellas Racing number 7. They did not participate because the Wi-Fi got bricked in the driver's home. So fair enough.
Yeah, that's just a case of shit happens.
No, Arise though. If I was spectating an EAC lobby, for example, Tofu would be skating around like he's trying to win a figure skating competition. If the connection's not good, the cars will be skating across the circuit. But everybody's really smooth, and I like it.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I won't finish it.
Don't you dare. But no, I mean, gaps are picking up a little bit. I think the closest gap is Mateusz and Ikonen of 5 seconds, and it is, but Leo is still dropping back to Arps, but Arps needs to pit, and that's when he's going to lose it. Like how I was in Largo. God, don't even tell me about it. That's the biggest problem with GT7 League Racing is, you know, sometimes the netcode, because, you know, that incident in Turn 1, your POV said one thing, Laws said a completely other thing. Even Grand Valley this season, a few weeks ago, you know, the fact that from Shimby's point of view, he's basically been pit maneuvered, but in Fabio's POV, the cars are practicing social distancing and Shimby just spins off of a skill issue. There's two sides to a coin here, and that's what I don't like. Netcode is questionable. And for the 3rd time in this stream, I think we're going to see Mateusz lapping Arps. He's not gone 3 extra laps ahead of him, don't get me wrong, because he's pit. I think this is going to be the first proper time he's lapping him in the stint, maybe even the 2nd. Like in terms of being extra laps ahead of him off of the start, don't know. Oryx in the pits as well. Damage again is the thing. It's consistency, it's the damage. It's difficult.
It's a hard knock life for some of them.
But no, I mean, I really want to take part in this. I really want to do the Canada race. Canada is my thing. That's why I was happy when Arise said it, because I want Arise to be. I would love to do it with Arise, somebody that I can trust, basically, and can tolerate listening to for hours.
I'm glad to know that I'm not in that list of people, because otherwise you would have asked me. So I will not. I won't feel offended.
But I was mainly just allowing Wiki to make the Hellas team. I wasn't going to go out recruiting people. But Arise put himself forward.
Looking at the state of the Hellas team, you might as well, because no offense, Wiki, but stuff seems disorganized at times.
Meh, well, each team have their own problems. However,
some teams have worse problems than others.
Yeah.
But that is life.
True. Well, that's the thing. It doesn't bother me all that much. I'll just get on with it at the end of the day. But I think my biggest thing in endurance racing is my sort of... It's not even my own fear of fucking it up. It's the fear that I'm just going to be handed a shit situation. Like, as a hypothetical, with no offense to anybody... Yeah. In a hypothetical, with no offense to anybody involved, I would be in tears if I was being handed this car, the 44. Because, you know, I'm just in a shit situation. I feel like all I can do there is make it worse, because... And he spins in the wall. I could not spin my my car at the final corner at all.
I will be honest, that is a hard hit into the wall. Does he have engine damage from that? No.
No, he doesn't, but he's having difficulties turning it round. He's going to have to wait for the Oryx car, and he gets lapped again, unfortunately. I mean, I do get your point about the Nürburgring, because yes, I handed off the car. We were still in the lead. And then by the end of the next stint, we had lost 4 minutes. We were 4 minutes behind the leader. I think when I finished my stint, because this is the thing that I'm talking about in the rain as well, by the way, we were on intermediates on a track that was wet through, absolutely drenched, torrential rain, and I still wasn't losing that much time. We were still in the lead by come end of stint, mainly because it dried up at the end and I was just flying, but come end of stint, we were in the lead still in the lead. And Arps is definitely going to have to be pitting soon with his fuel getting low, Mateo's coming on his back. But, you know, I handed over the car and then had to engineer the guy. And he did lose 4.5 minutes. Like, you know, that was basically race ending. And then he had to give that car to Steps. And it was basically just, the message to Steps was, do something. What do you tell that person? You know, Steps was watching my stint and thinking, my God, we can win this. And then all he does is, Steps disappears for 2 hours to go and eat and comes back and we're 4 minutes behind the leaders. What do you say to him? You know.
Do something. That's what you say to it.
Yeah. But, you know, it's like...
To be fair, some people do not realize the size of damages that, you know...
Yeah.
A 5 second gap is fine. No, 5 seconds is barely you chewing on a piece of food and swallowing it. Okay.
Yeah.
But some people, they look at a 5 minute gap and go, that can be closed in like 2 seconds because they saw Kevin Estre do it. No.
Yeah.
It's just not how it works, sadly.
It's a big task. No, Arise, you wouldn't. Not with me showing you how to drive that Ferrari at Canada. The only thing I'm going to tell you is that you're not going to like my setup, because I had a setup for this track, which was, I thought felt beautiful. Now, I will admit, it's an awkward situation, because I definitely wasn't 2 seconds behind the fastest cars. I definitely wasn't 2 seconds slower than them per lap. But the setup I had, I loved it. I loved it. That's what matters. It was the fastest possible setup that I could run. I copied my teammates' ones slower. I did mine. The people looked at it and said it was the stupidest thing they'd ever seen. Crest said it didn't make any sense whatsoever, but it was the best setup that I had. Tyre wear, fuel economy, speed, downforce, straight line speed. It was perfect. But it made no sense. I'm not going to get into the details as to why, because I'd be revealing my stupid setup on the stream. But don't worry, Arise, I'll show you the stupid setup when we get to Canada for April 4th, so it's like the final week of March. And I'll coach you how to be an idiot. Not how to be an idiot, but how to drive bad cars.
To be fair, you know, you can also just tell Crest or Arise to sit in a party with me and they will get it firsthand.
Yeah, that's true. Like... You know, the thing is with Canada as well, is with the Ferrari, because I'd be in the 296, there's the, and there's a big train here as well, by the way. But no, it doesn't like bumps, and that's the difficulty of it. You need to bring the car up off the ground a bit, because, especially at the final chicane, the car was kind of shuddering off of corners. You know, like when they do slow-mos in F1 and the tyres are sort of janging left to right when they go up in the air? The car kind of felt like that. But I was the fastest driver on the track that day. By over a second. But it's tuning that out and getting the lines, because it's so easy to get a penalty at Canada. It's tuning the lines, it's being able to do the final chicane without getting a penalty, and the car in last just darts onto the grass momentarily for no reason, without damage this time, so he's got no excuse. But, yeah, it's a hard track to get the theory right on, but when you do, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Because the curbs are lethal, so your line needs to, you basically need to be on rails the whole time.
Actually, the perfect comparison would be Dragon Trail Gardens, because if you look at the chicane in Dragon Trail, that is every single bump around Canada, basically.
I kind of agree with you, actually.
Yeah, so if you take a look at the way that you have to drive around on Dragon Trail, you should probably apply that to Canada as well, where in Canada you have a lot of very lenient, you know, track limits. You know, you can just kind of scoot your car over it, like have your plank kind of drift over the biggest part of the bump, you'll be fine, you know? And people don't really realize that, and they'll just launch the car up in the air. Like a few weeks back we had like the GT World Series, and people just got launched into the air for no apparent reason, just because they took the corner a little bit too shallow.
Yeah. Dragon Trail Gardens is a good one. I do love it. I do love it. But yeah. Canada I just can't explain. It just works for me. It just works. But yeah, the setup, as you say as well, there's a theory behind it, and of course at Gardens a similar layout. I mean, the thing is though, I get on with Canada a lot more than I get on with Dragon Trail, but Dragon Trail is a bit of a Garden specifically. It's a little bit of a meh one. I remember we did it in EAC, and I was just scrapping Bumble on the final lap. But I mean, I feel like it's difficult to get a car that's actually used to that kind of layout. But and there's a yellow flag at the final corner. The Orex car has crashed on the entrance to the pit lane. But yeah, very difficult tracks to get right. Gardens, the only thing I like about Gardens is that it can rain. That's what I like about Gardens.
Yeah, which is still a thing about the entirety of Gran Turismo 7. All of the fantasy tracks are not available with rain for some reason, except for like 2 or 3 of them, which is insane to me. You make the data, you make the layouts, make it have rain. Like,
Yeah.
the same way that I'm looking at Abu Dhabi, for example. Yeah, it's in the middle of a desert, but when it rains in a desert, it monsoon rains. Everything washes away.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I like, especially like take Project Cars 2 for example. That's something that I really enjoyed. Like Snetterton. Love Snetterton. I loved how when it pissed it down, how the line changed at turn 1 because there was just a puddle. You know, the type of puddle that drowns villages on the apex of turn 1 at Snetterton because it's banked. It's fairly banked. And yeah, I just love those kind of details. But oh, we've got Arps and Pan Am racing out the pit lane as well. That is a pro car on an amateur car, but Pan Am making a little bit of recovery, but he does need to box this lap. Going to lose about 30 seconds to him. But Arps will be on his run onto Leo, who is 23 seconds ahead of Pan Am right now. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's stupid, as you say. You make the physics for a track, however can't code rain into it. Even though you say your rain's really detailed. Don't make sense in my eyes. Yeah, it's Itkanen losing a bit of time as well, struggling behind Galthor. Yeah, we've got Pan Am on Arps here. We'll just watch them for the time being.
And to come back onto your point about rain, Cody, before I have to head off for a little while, Polyphony Digital, I'm always very critical of them with the stuff they do because even their rain system is absolutely like cavemanish. It's the kind of level that we expected from Forza Motorsport 6, for example.
Yeah.
Because I take a look and I see puddles forming and it's great and it's amazing, but it's always predictated. There's no randomness to it. You know exactly if you have rain 1 going into rain 5 across these minutes, it's always going to be the same. And especially with the drying line as well, it's always going to be the racing line for the AI, which is always, a bit of a shame. And I do wish that other games would be more of an example to Gran Turismo. Like, take a look at iRacing, for example. Their weather mechanics are top notch.
Yeah, and we saw then, Pan Am at the top of the hill did actually have a little bit of a crash into a barrier, get some damage, and then the cars were going side by side, but the problem was for Pan Am is that he showed Arps the wrong side of his car, so he had to brake to go into the pit lane there. But I mean, the gap between 255 and 48. So here is 255, and there is your... Where the fuck is... Who's 48? There's 48. Okay. Five minutes and 22 seconds. That's right, isn't it? So 10 minutes 10 to the leader, and then 4 minutes 49 to the leader. Definitely. Yeah, it has to be right. No. I understand what you mean, but no, I mean, rain physics in GT7, they are disappointing. The biggest disappointment for me though is actually the weather radar, because it seems to be like broken up quite a lot. It just, you know, I love the fact that there's a weather radar in this game, but it's the way that the weather shows. Sometimes it's broken up. It's like when rain's coming in or when rain's going away. It's like, you know, you could have this massive like sort of thing. You know, you've got like the 6 colors of rain. You got the 6 colors of rain on your radar. Let's actually have a look at this just briefly. You know, you've got your 7 colors of rain, but you could have a massive puddle of this category 2 coming in, and then all of a sudden, right as it gets close to the track, it turns into this category 4, and it's just sort of like all of a sudden hellishly rain. You could have been about to pit onto inters because you've seen, oh, it's this kind of weather. Then all of a sudden it turns into heavy wet, and it just kind of fucks you over. You know, it's a bit daft in my opinion. The way it works, it needs to be fixed, is all I'm saying. But, ooh, traction control on the number 3 car, didn't notice that. But yeah, no, the gaps of these top guys, I mean, first and second have been getting a little bit close, mainly because of that spin at the start that Mateus had to fix, but they've sort of evened themselves out now. They're actually on pretty similar levels right now, in terms of the fuel, tyres, a fair few laps older, but Mateus has the pace to just keep increasing it. I feel like they're just going to equal out towards the end. So fair play to Mateus. But yeah, I mean, Darth Vader could even make a run up to the Thai driver. We've got, what is that? Well, for Mateus, he has 15, 16, 17 laps remaining, actually. Well, soon to be 16, but yeah. I mean, the gaps are huge. So we've not had that much, but we've had some. We've had some, and I appreciate it. And the thing is for Leo as well, they are now 1 minute and 6 seconds behind. That's a good question, Arise. I don't know. Yeah, the 86 car, a fair distance behind the 595. And you've got Arps, who could even come back and make a challenge again on the 86 car. Then you've got LSR Pan Am behind in the Road Tech Racing 93 car. So I think, you know, Team Full Push in their AM car, maybe it's a bit good. But, yeah. We'll see how we go, but no, these guys towards the bottom. So I'm providing something different by doing this, is that right? I don't think I'm going to comment flicking between drivers for 2 hours. I suppose that gives you a bit of peace, able to review. I think that this is taking the piss a bit. I think this is taking the piss out of it, is what I mean. Because this event is very professional, very well organised. I do like it. Really good. Really good. But oh, really? Yeah, he is actually. His best lap's still that 2 minute 10. So he's 10 seconds off of the pace. And he's come out the pits and he wasn't even accelerating. He was, actually. Barely. But, yeah. I'd deem that as unsafe if it was my call. But I feel like the thing that I'm looking at is how many people are in each class. Because, I mean, yeah, in terms of an overall standpoint, there's 2 cars, which is Hellas, the number 7 car, and the 320 of Scotty Motorsports, which should also be in the amateur category, which leaves you with 1, 2, 3, 5 cars in amateur. 5 cars in amateur overall, compared to the, what is that, 8 cars that are in pro. You know what? I feel like that's actually all right. I was gonna mention if there was like a difference, like if there's an unfair difference, because I feel like you'd want the same amount of pro and amateur, in my opinion. But yeah. What are you saying, Scotty? The 44 car racing right now is so there's drivers from, so the full teams there, or drivers from, just drivers from. And the driver that currently hasn't raced so far is actually banned already. He full course yellow and hit people off during a full course yellow. Jesus Christ. To be fair though, right, this is the thing. Yeah, hitting people off is yes, I fully understand why they're banned. But the thing is with speed limits and stuff in the yellow is Spirit Courses team, we all know them, didn't want to mention them. But they had a driver actually race in EAC, which is the league that I've raced in, and at Daytona. So imagine a safety car comes out and Mateusz pits. This is all hypothetical what I'm talking about. I know Discord Racing Association has their own safety car rules, but we're ignoring it for this example. Imagine Mateusz goes into the pit lane and comes out in P4. So he comes out in P4 behind this Nexus car, is what would happen, hypothetically. So what the Spirit Courses team driver did was think that they were entitled to return to P1. So under safety car conditions, when everyone's behind the safety car, they pulled out and tried to force their way into first place. Apparently some people use that rule. So if you pit in P1 and come out in P7, you're allowed to return to the position that you were in before you made your pit stop. Which makes no sense to me at all. No sense. I get it, it might make sense to some people, as that ARP's making a bit of a mistake. Has he got some damage? He doesn't have some damage. Where's the yellow flag from? I don't know. Scotty Motorsports missing back-to-back. Yeah, I didn't get it either, Arise, but yeah, imagine ARP's pits, comes out in P10, and then he thinks he's allowed to reclaim P8. No. Not on. I don't get where that kind of rule comes from. I've never seen it before. I've watched a lot of racing series, never seen that. Never in my life. No, I mean, we've kind of just stagnated a little bit as we're watching this little Mackey's car. I mean, as I said, I need talking points, and Shimby's disappeared, so I'm going to panic. But no, we'll watch this Mackey's car for a little bit, because I mean, 11.2 seconds, it's a gap I want to see come down. I want a little fight between the, what is that, 87 and the 595. I want to see some proper battles. Your Stint 3 driver's not there either, Scotty. Jesus. You want to join my PS party? Okay. You're appearing offline, you knobhead. But no, I've only ever commentated races that have a max distance of an hour, so this is new to me anyway. Doing things for full 2 hours. I respect Loco and Casa that much more. But I sent you an invite. Kept coming down a little bit though. It's interesting. It's interesting. I like it. I like it. I want to see a battle before the end of this. that isn't a blue flag car killing somebody. Okay, so he's racing seriously again. We'll see how we go. Here we go. Here's a rise. He's spinning under traction control. This is a very curious phenomenon. The 44 car is spinning while using traction control. What traction control is he using? Oh, he's using traction control 1. Fair enough. That doesn't do much. And neither do I. But I mean, each to their own. Each to their own. I don't know if you're even going to be on the stream or not, I don't know. But the thing for me was always like, you use traction control, like a sort of like full traction control, or it's not. And as you lower it down, you're then getting used to, you're getting used to it, understanding that you can't go on or off. It's actually different levels of throttle rather than like a button. But I mean, to be fair, for me, when I started with racing games, I was kind of taught that way, because my first racing games were GT5 and GT6, which the default way of driving had the throttle as X and the brake as square, which was really good for a game that was made dedicated for PlayStation. Made no sense. No sense to me at all. But, yeah. I don't know, because, like, traction control for me, I turned off traction control in any type of racing discipline in 2017, because I got F1 2017, and Tiamat Marduk told me that traction was quite easy on F1 2017, so I turned it off, and I didn't really look back. It's kind of weird logic, but it worked for me. Yeah. 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 And another thing as well is like, it's the fact that, to be fair, most of the time in racing we do use balance of play, or a custom balance of play, which makes the cars slower. So the torque isn't really there. It's like, yeah, you can say, I race in a Group 3 league and never use traction control, but can you beat the Nürburgring circuit experience without traction control? You know... I did as well. That car is funny as hell. That BMW wants to kill you. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, the default setups for these cars are a little bit meh. On some of them. The setup on the BMW was pretty bad. But... well, I don't feel like there's much to talk about, to be honest, at the current stage that we're at. But... I think... what's 11 minutes behind the next car? That's... I mean... I feel like... Oh, he's just gone into the wall again. I feel like it's sort of been a 50-50 split of between if people do the red flag... do the blue flags or not. Because I saw it in the, like, paddock chats and everything. I think Mateusz said, Jesus Christ, blue flags are as a guideline, not an order. But I feel like in this, it should be an order because it's Bathurst. Get out of the guy's way. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't read the rules, so I can't tell you. But, you know, if I was getting a blue flag for a leader, I'd get out of the way. You know, there's no point fucking up somebody's race. Yeah, yeah. Like, I get it. Example, tomorrow, obviously the Daytona race in Drive Labs. If you're getting blue flags for an LMP car, hold your line. If you're getting blue flags for a car in your own class, get out the way. You know, the problem is it gets confusing because it's two different types of people. But I think my favorite part about that race... Oh! Arps! Oh no, he's got damage and he's gone off. He had 9... Yeah. He got damage. He had 9 seconds he had to catch Leo. He could have been ahead of another pro car, the 86. Sparkline car has got away with it. I think they've got away with it. I'll tell you as well though, Darth Vader though is catching up to the TIE driver Ragnar in the 87 car, the Nova Motors esports team. Gap's 11 seconds to the second 9PP car. Who knows? But yeah, I feel like unfortunately for Arps, he has thrown away, with getting that damage, thrown away an opportunity at beating another pro driver, because as you can see, LSR Pan Am in the Road Tech Racing car, the 93, is in the pro category, and is behind, a whole minute behind the Team Full Push 255. But yeah, I mean, the thing for me is I'm kind of nervous for tomorrow, but I'd always be nervous for an endurance race. This is a 12-hour race at Bathurst. You've got to have a lot of trust in everybody in your team. This is a 6-hour. I mean, I'm sorry, right? I'm racing a car which is 15 miles an hour faster than me on a straight at Daytona, and I was only 6 thousandths of a second slower in qualifying. We take those. No, I'm excited. I am excited for it secretly, because I know if I can have 4 straight hours of absolutely fucking that car around the circuit, I'm going to get some kind of result. I feel like with Loco in the car first, he's probably going to either get P2 or P3. I feel like P3, the Porsche is a fair bit slower than us. It could be similar pace to him. I feel like after he settles in, he can get it, but we'll see how we go. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel like it's sketchy in first gear, but the only reason that I don't think it's sketchy in first gear is because around Daytona, because you said time trial, by the way, even though we were using BOP, so you don't have BOP when you're in time trial, unless you changed it, like the car settings to kind of match it, I don't know. But, oh, somebody's round. Oryx car round at the top of the hill. He's going to have to get this turned around safely. There's 3 cars coming up to him. He's thrown it into the barrier, got bumper damage, and he gets away and then he spins it again. But no, yeah, continue, sorry. You're talking about TSO 50, the time trial and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah. thing for me was because I did have a bit of a setup on. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. But no, I did have a bit of a setup on, and yeah, first gear is a little bit shaky, but I'd never be planting my foot properly in turn 1 at Daytona. It was always easing it through a corner in first, because you can get a bit of better rotation in first. And the problem is if you short shift up to second, it's going to use more battery to try and pull itself up the RPM. There's a whole, the battery economics on the thing is whack. But no, I felt like it's arguably the best car there overall. But the problem is that there is a massive top speed advantage for the DRA 10. So you have to throw it through the first 2 sectors and throw it through the chicane. But in terms of like the overall ability of the car, the GR010 should be miles ahead, but it's not. It's only 6,000ths of a second ahead. It's crazy to think you can have a 15 miles an hour advantage in a car in the same class, and your car is, what is that? Is that 6 years or 5 years more modern? 5 years or 6 years of extra development into that car, and I know there's BOP specs affecting it as well. I know that. But that's crazy to me. Oh, well, I've missed something. I missed something. The stream will be like 30 seconds. I think it might have been the car in last. They have front damage to the bow suspension and the front bumper. We saw the Oryx damage. Arps is still carrying his damage, so yeah, it must have been the 44 car, unfortunately to say this, again, having an incident. I wouldn't, I personally would just say, well, you know, it's like when Hellas did the Nürburgring 12 hour, I was kind of just tempted to say to Wiki, it's like, after that kind of performance, I think we need to stop, man. I think we need to stop. No. I don't know. I mean, but this is the thing for me. It's like, you know what you're signing up for. Oh, there's somebody is round. The Oryx car has just come out of the pits. Just come out of the pits, basically. Fixing its damage, and it's damaged again, unfortunately. But no. Trying to spin it around. This is the thing with running in custom specs as well. Does the car actually have enough torque to throw itself around? And I think these guys towards the bottom think that it does. I'd just be using my handbrake. This is the thing. It's like when we did Tokyo in EAC. I was on dries and the track was basically in intermediate rain conditions. And of course, as the heavy hairpin, you need to slow the car right the way down. No way the car's doing that. It was me and Law. We went side by side into it, and I just yoinked the handbrake and threw the car around. So the way I hit the wall was my back bumper hit the wall. His front bumper hit the wall. When you need to turn the car around, buddy, I'm gone. Scotty Motorsport missing Stint 3 as well. That's a shame. You know, I feel like the advantage would be something that's quite simple to pick up if they continue like this. However, I don't know, man. I don't know. That ping about Stint 3 lobby opening as well. That's unfortunate, but game's game. But I would never say that it's actually worth it. Oh. He's gone. Oh no, here we go. Thing is, for me, is I would always say, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into when it comes to signing up for an endurance race. And, you know, admittedly on the one hand, yes, I said I'd be so demotivated if I saw that my team had a massive gap to the cars ahead. However, at the same time, I wouldn't feel like that's grounds for quitting. Unless you feel, if you feel like it's completely gone, then fair enough. I would rather quit than flap about on the circuit. You know, but yeah. Mhm. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do an endurance race, you know what you're signing up for. It's like when EAC did Autotopolis, when EAC did Road Atlanta, when EAC did Le Mans. I would say never quit, but I would rather quit than potentially ruin the race for other people. You know, I'm not saying that's the intention of the 44 car, for example, but I'm just saying it's like, you know, if I feel like the race is too far gone where I just don't want to do it anymore, and the team says, yeah, let's just back out of it, then fair enough. But I'm not the type of person to drive around like a lemon on the circuit. No offense, but in terms of the actual race though as well, it's only stint 2, and I mean, I am looking at how these gaps are going to be at the end, because I know ARPS is in amateur category, AM, but after 4 total hours on the circuit, he is 5 minutes behind his corresponding teammate. His teammate leading pro, they're leading both categories basically. So a 5-minute gap, I want to see how big that actually gets by the end of the race. Because you've got 5 minutes and basically 8 seconds between ARPS and Mateusz. You've got 13 seconds and 46 seconds between the Oryx car and Mateusz, which overall is basically... Let me do a gimme in my head. It's 8 minutes, sorry, and 32 seconds. It's 34 seconds. I don't even know anymore. It's a crazy gap, is all I'm trying to say, between first and second in AM. Yeah, team full push they're doing. Yeah, but you got to think it's different disciplines here, because you know you got your pro category and then your amateur category. I would think if I'm in the amateur category, then fair enough. I'm just intrigued as to how close the leader I'm going to be, how far I'm going to be from the leader of the pro category. But this is the thing though, because you've got the difference for me is, okay, maybe I'd ask that question if I was in the 86 car Sparkline, because There's a 3.9 second gap between Arps and Leo, but they're in different classes, is the problem. Yeah, they're both 5 minutes behind the leader, but Arps' car is in amateur, and he's leading amateur by a distance, by a massive distance. But Leo is 7th place in pro, and also 5 minutes behind the leader. Panam's in the pro class. He's nearly a minute off of Arps. Yeah. Exactly. Probably because it's new. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're salty that he beats you from time to time. This is custom BOP as well, by the way. I'd like to make that part clear. Like, they have to put in specific settings on their ECU or power restrictor or their ballast. So this isn't what you're used to. No, it's all the same. Mateusz and Arps, because they're part of the same team, their cars will be set up in the exact same way. But it wasn't. But it was the lapping. But this is the thing, is Mateusz actually at the end of the race? He is at the end of the race, I think. Yeah. But this is the thing for me. Yeah, pitting for the box change. But this is the thing for me. There's two classes of people. It's going to be most pronounced at the Nürburgring and Bathurst and those most complicated circuits that are so long. Like, I guarantee I'm not going to guarantee, but I'm going to say this same stage in Canada, I think the AM leader may only be like a lap behind the pro leader after 2 hours. Because this is after 4, but the Montreal race is only 3 hours. So, you know, I do feel like, yeah. 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 I mean, yeah, we are definitely, this is the end of it. So Mateusz with a 56.2 second gap over Ikonen with a 54.3 second gap over Shankvila. So everybody is boxing at the end of this lap, basically, I think. I think they should be doing at least. I don't know anymore. Well, no, I think they have to wait. I think once third is pit, then you wait for fourth, then you wait for fifth. I think that's how it's being done. to maintain the gaps properly. Or they're just... Oh, no. So, no, I'm stupid. 11th place is running to the end of their lap 59, so they still have 9 laps to go, basically. Jesus, that's a lot. But this is the thing, by the way. Leo and Arps have another lap to do before they come into the pits. Another lap. And the thing there, can Arps make the overtake before they get into the pits? If not, Stint 3, they're going to be racing. Out of the pits. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Scarface signed up to Vulpes and picked a car that wasn't even on the list. Nice one. Well, I think Arps has thrown that away. He went wide at the final corner. Yeah, I think he went wide at the final corner. Sausage. Ragnar comes into the pits. After Kevin's already there, we missed that Nexus driver coming in. I believe... God forbid you have to brake for a pit entry. You can't full send it into Canada, you get 3 seconds. Well, I suppose when I did it, I was off-centered. But yeah, no. In the Tomahawk, I wonder how. But no, Darth Vader in the pits as well in that second 9 PP car, 25.1 seconds he has to the car ahead of him, and then there is Leo who will be boxing in this lap. You don't have pit lane penalties. What? I love pit lane penalties. They're toxic as hell, and it's also really fun. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the difference is probably because Bathurst's pit lane is a bit busted. If you actively cut it though, you can receive a penalty for it. Like, they have a race director that's here watching it, so you know, maybe it's that. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly, yeah. Yeah. Well, for some they have. The 44 cars. Well, I think most people are going to be filtering out the stream now because we're going to have P9 coming into the pits as well. But Arps, yeah, that was thrown away at the end. You know, the gap was within 2 seconds and it ended by 3.933. So they're going to get racing in the second stint, and then Pan Am coming to the end, boxing this lap. The Oryx car and the Full Throttle Motorsports car still got some laps to do. Yeah, Husky, where are the commercials? Where's the commercials, Husky? I had free coverage as brought to you by my wallet. Hang on a minute, that sounds like I should be getting paid for this. point to fairly do it. Who's left me? Somebody left me outside. He has to actively wait because, you know, the full throttle motorsport car is about to start their 52nd lap, and the Orex car actually is boxing at the end of their next lap. No, they need to box at the end of next lap because apparently it was an admin error, so they were held waiting for 2 minutes longer than they should have. Yeah, the end of lap 58, so they pit a lap earlier. No, I mean, in a way, it's kind of fair enough. And he spun. The Orex car as they're about to start their final lap. Different though, like, do you think you could sit here and commentate for it, to be honest? By yourself? Oh, Leo fucked it. Leo fucked it by mistake. I would be putting my controller down if I was playing this with 3 people by accident. Okay. I've learned something new. When people put C in chat, that means that they've crashed. That is a rule, apparently. I don't know why, but yeah. Oh my god. Wait, hang on a minute. What the fuck? Why is Leo racing? No. I think Leo's gonna break it. I think Leo might have broken it. What the fuck is Leo? No. He's racing on the last lap. He's stopping now, thank Christ. What the fuck was that? Somebody needs to sort out this Leo guy. He exited the pits too early as well in the formation lap and then started racing as well. I don't really know what's going on with this guy. Well, no, Sparkline are bottling their whole race here with Leo driving backwards. So they've got a 5 place where he's driving backwards for 10 seconds of qualifying. This guy's cruising down the hill backwards. That's taking the piss. This is the thing that I was talking about, though. It's like taking the piss out of the effort that people are putting in to organise this by driving backwards. It's just, it is quite disrespectful. I feel like there's going to be a penalty here. Skid level of organisation. It is taking the piss out. BMW here, for example, the BMW guys are really good. Normal BOP, Milo, for example, who you've never seen, you will see Milo, actually, you will have seen him as well. EAC, he's rapid. He can do a 58, a 58, a 58, 58. Let me go and see. When was the last time we had Bathurst? Did he do it? He did. Oh no, scratch that. He did it. Milo's really who else is out of the bloody building? Car is driving. I genuinely think these guys are issues. Oh well. It's not that hard. piss out of the guy. But to be fair, this guy, the driver, was taking the piss during the stint anyway, so to be fair. You've got to give it some words of encouragement. But I'm not going to. I did see that. This is the thing though, if this happened to us, I could keep myself entertained for that time. But this is the problem, you know. If you... Because the way I would run a team like this is I recommend people that know what happened. If I was going to practice and trust the fact that they would give me lessons that I would do. Like, you know, because the hell has too much of a driver has people who Wiki doesn't know, people who doesn't really know much of, but these are like random people whose time on race. Kind of like how we in DLEC, for example, had two drivers that we didn't know. But yeah, because I don't trust if I can have contact with those people if I need to. People that I know, like Alex, Steps, or Kiki, I know I can. Because if they don't show up for Steps, basic information. Yeah, if I'm being asked about basic pieces of information, I'm just like, here. If someone's asking me about it's just a bit like, but yeah, it's actually hard to find that it would take that long to. I mean, I can help you with it if you want me to, because you can look at my servers and see how I have information organized. If you want a bit of inspiration, I'm happy to show you. But obviously yours is a lot bigger than mine. You've got three proper big racing teams. But anyway, yeah. If things are difficult to find, then I think about how am I supposed to restructure that, because I want everything to be obvious. For example, EAC had a penalty point section which just had all the information splattered onto them, like GT3 penalty points, multi-class penalty points on top of the other. For Vulpus Racing, because we've got 3 series that are going to be starting in a similar time, we don't want them to start at the same time. I was still going to do penalty points in chat. World Race Series, the thread penalty point list, and so like the details of what the penalty points give you from what counts, and then Hellas Touring Masters is a thread with some bit of information. Yeah, that could also be, but I think that's best to stop people, because it's like something people would fuck about with one tier, get banned, but then just go and do the next. I think having it crossover is good. Yeah, I think a league-wide driver's license is actually quite interesting. It's not something that we enforced, and I feel like we should enforce it. There's 2 hands to a coin. It stops people from one series going to the next, but it also punishes people who just want to race in more categories. If you take the average cleanliness of a driver in EAC, they're gonna get. Let's look at EAC because that was started at season 5. We'll do people who raced both seasons. Law had 11. Steps had 5 across 22 races. I had 1 over 22 races. Average geese is gonna get about not that many penalty points. However, there could be someone could have a bad race and get a load. Like Justin has 12. Which is the most out of anybody. This past season. But that's the thing, it's like, that's the thing. There's a chance that you could just be punished for trying. Maybe there's a penalty point system and accrue penalty points per incidents. There's a penalty point guideline that you get this punishment in your next race if you have this many 2 penalty points and you race in this many tiers consistently. Imagine you did all 3 tiers and maybe got a penalty every other week. Yeah, got a penalty every other week. You'd be getting punished quite quickly. But you'd be getting punished quite quickly. However, yeah, you did 1, it might take a lot longer. If you're getting a penalty point every other week, it'll take a lot longer. If you're doing all 3 tiers, you're getting 3 penalty points bi-weekly on average, as we're saying. 3 penalty points bi-weekly versus 1. It's not really fair. You're just going to punish the racing unless you're particularly a dirty driver, and that's different. This is the race we want to see. We've got Mateus and Icknen sending information, and that's where the stints come through. After the driver 2.5 hours this week. Care about how long the lead is this week. Fuck me. driver that did this, but this was the driver that did